So we have our winter gatherings now. We've had our winter gatherings for several years now in this house, and it keeps growing and growing. You know, we've had up to, I don't know, 11 to 13 different nations represented in this house, over 300 people in here, and 2 big fires going, and the house just rocking, you know, with songs and sharing stories and so forth. And it's good, you know, it's that type of protocol that we keep alive that is just, it's just fantastic. The canoe journeys, you know, the canoe journeys have been going on for about 21 years now up in the Sound. The Oliver family, you know, started the journeys to Seattle. They knew they had people in their tribes that needed help. They needed, you know, sobriety. You know, they needed to stay away. So the journeys were a way of getting them out in the canoe and getting them bonding with their ancestors and get out on those traditional highways. And, you know, so today, as we travel, you know, it's all about, you know, honoring these canoes and honoring, you know, your culture, honoring your families and your elders. And it's a totally respectful journey. And people, it's grown so huge, you know. 2 years ago, there was over 110 canoes that came in and representing people from Hawaii and Alaska and New Zealand. And so we travel on these journeys, you know, and we come in from different areas. You know, we're out there pulling in these canoes for sometimes 8 to 12 hours a day. You could travel anywhere from 25 to 40 miles in a day. And you go from village to village, and you know, all these villages are bringing back their culture and their protocol. You know, you come ashore and you just say, you know, I'm tired, I'm hungry, you know, we've traveled a long distance and we would like to come ashore. And they will grant us permission to come ashore, and they'll say that they have food for us and showers and so forth. And then you'll go and you'll have dinner, you'll share a dinner with them. And then protocol comes into play. And they'll start with the tribe that's the furthest away, and you'll get the chance to come to the floor and share dances and sing and do some business, you know, maybe some gifting. You want to gift some people, you know, out there in the audience. And then the next group and the next group. So as these people keep coming together from different angles, you get more and more tribes. I can remember a few years back, we weren't even to our final journey yet. We were in Puyallup, and I think protocol went till like 4 o'clock in the morning, and then you get up and put your 8 hours in the next day, you know. So, but it's always good traveling on those journeys, you know. It's always good because you get that sense that you know your ancestors are out there with you. You know, you've got that light fog on the water, and that's just your ancestors traveling with you. One time I remember we were leaving. We were going to go through the Narrows the next day, and they had a skippers meeting talking about how the Narrows was so treacherous because of the deep canyon there, and when the tide changes, the water just boils, you know. And they wanted to make sure that everybody wore life jackets because a lot of people, you know, or some people don't wear life jackets traditionally. And so I can remember pulling up to the Narrows. You could see the bridge forever, it seemed like, you know, at least for a few hours, you know. And as we came up to the Narrows, there was this light fog along there, and we were just waiting for this rolling water to hit us, and it was flat. It was flat. Our ancestors were with us, and it was like glass going through the Narrows. So that was good. Later on, we got into shipping channels in Seattle, and it was a little bit different story. You know, a Northwestern that came in, and we were starting to get into some chop, and I remember Tony was behind me steering, bailing, pulling, all at the same time. I was up to here in water coming over my lap, you know, but we'd already done 6 hours that day, and we had 3 hours to get across that channel. So. And it's an interesting place to be, you know. You've got, I think if I remember right, the first thing that we hit when we got into the shipping channels was a gravel barge coming over our left shoulder. But luckily he was able to steer a little bit. And then you'll see the ferries put up a puff of smoke, and they don't deviate, so you just keep going, you know. And you're small out there. You're just this little canoe out there just bobbing up and down, you know. And I remember there was a freighter. He was coming in fast. He was miles away. But you could see that he was pushing a 30-foot wall of water up in front of him, and all we could say is, can't wait to see the other side of him, you know. And we just kept on digging. But those are the things you run into the journey. But you also, you know, there's times where the wildlife, you know, they're out there and they just kind of respond to you being on the waters. You know, it might be bald eagles playing on the beach. I remember one beach, there was 4 bald eagles playing on the beach. We had pods of dolphins travel with us a couple of years ago. So there's just a variety of things that the wildlife do as well out there. I think they're pretty happy to see, you know, native people back out on those traditional highways as well. So The Plankhouse, like I said, it brings a great place of education for school children. It brings us a really good place to bring back and do our culture and do our businesses in the winter, and just that awareness that, you know, the Chinook people were here before and we haven't gone away. You know, I've got a few, I put the toasty fire on there for you guys today. Because unless you come to a tribal event, you don't see a toasty fire in the Plankhouse, you know, so I put that on there for you, but and this house, the fires are huge. You know, there's an issue right now with smoke particulates, and they say, you know, but we've never seen it, you know, even with fires, you know, so. Yeah, if you want to just go ahead and skip over the next picture, I'll go through some of these here. Like I said, the one thing the Plankhouse did for us too as well, and with Tony's help, is it helped bring back, you know, this river style art, because so many people think of the, you know, of Northwest art, they think of that Coast Salish and they forget about the more primitive or the art along this Columbia River. So it's really nice to see a lot of the, you know, the art styles come back, and Greg Robinson is also another artist. You know, he does his design on his drums and so forth. But we get in here and we rock this place in the winter gathering. Go ahead and move on to the next one. We also invite our friends. You know, our friends are just thrilled to come in and share songs and dance. You know, and it's just so great to see all these kids, you know, doing their paddle songs, or, you know, it comes time to eat, everybody's doing their table songs. You know, and it's nothing like it. You know, it's a closed event, and I know there's been a select few people here that have been at the winter gathering, and I just hope it's just a fantastic experience for them. Gifting is a very huge thing, you know, up here in the Northwest. People always ask me if we powwow, and I said no, we potlatch. You know, and we tell them that potlatching, you know, comes from the word polish, or to give. You know, when people come into the house, you know, from far away, you gift them. You know, I remember a friend of mine, Keith Bear, he was a Mandam, and he was telling me that story. They kind of potlatch as well. He was telling me a story that over there he had a wedding for, you know, his daughter and this young man were getting married, and people were coming to the Earthen Lodge where they were having the wedding, and they were bringing gifts. And he says, "Well, what are you bringing gifts for?" He said, "Well, it's a wedding." He said, "No, I'll give you gifts." He said, "You know, we're gonna potlatch. You know, I'm gonna give you gifts." You know, well, why is that? He says, "Because I give you gifts, and you're responsible for keeping an eye on them." So, yeah. But anyway, yeah. So it's a lot of gifting going on, a lot of, you know, respect to the elders and those people that have traveled to come to our house. Like I said, the children. It's important. You know, these people are, you know, the future of the tribes, all the tribes. You know, so it's important to get them rooted into the culture. And so when they do come up and become our leaders, that they have that culture behind them when they make those decisions, you know, and that they listen to their elders. You know, elders are just hugely responsible for passing on these stories, and we're totally respectful of our elders, you know, and they house a lot of knowledge, you know. Some people say, well, theoretically you're an elder. I said, no, I don't have the knowledge to be an elder, you know, so. But it is very, very important for our children to pass it on, and the journeys as well. You know, a lot of kids, a lot of youth on the journeys, and very enjoyable for them, and very great experience for them to experience. You know, it could be 10, it could be 12 days of potlatches and all the culture that goes on.